Poetry for young adults. Daffodils, Lucy Gray, The Blind Boy, Give a Man a Horse. Poetry for children. This video has poetry for children to enjoy, listen, and learn to read and recite. There are beautiful poems by some famous poets. The audio and introduction is by Dr. Harpal Sodhi in the following sequence. Number 1, The Blind Boy by Colley Cibber. Second, Give a Man a Horse by James Thomson. Third, Daffodils by William Wordsworth. Fourth, Lucy Gray by William Wordsworth. So we begin with the first poem, The Blind Boy by Colley Cibber. The Blind Boy is composed by Colley Cibber, who was a poet, an actor, and a playwright. He was born in London on November 6, 1671, and died on December 11th, 1757. This poem, The Blind Boy, depicts the feelings of a blind boy who had never experienced light but had heard about sight and the wonderful things that can be seen. So, he asks questions with reference to sight and concludes with a positive note that he should not lose his cheerfulness or happiness for a loss that he can never know. Thus, although a poor blind boy, he sings that he is a king. The Blind Boy by Colley Cibber. Oh, say, what is that thing called light, which I must ne'er enjoy? What are the blessings of the sight? Oh, tell your poor blind boy. You talk of wondrous things you see. You say the sun shines bright. I feel him warm, but how can he or make it day or night? My day or night myself I make, whene'er I sleep or play. And could I ever keep awake, with me 'twere always day. With heavy sighs I often hear you mourn my hapless woe, but sure with patience I can bear a loss I ne'er can know. Then let not what I cannot have my cheer of mind destroy. Whilst thus I sing, I am a king, although a poor blind boy. Next poem, Give a Man a Horse He Can Ride by James Thomson, 1834 to 1882. This poem conveys that the opportunities that come in your life play an important role in the activities of your life. If you are given a horse, a boat, a pipe, or a book, it is up to you as to what you do with it, and you do it because you have the opportunity. Even falling in love could be great with the pulse of fate anywhere on land or sea. So enjoy this short poem with a beautiful rhyme. Give a man a horse, he can ride by James Thomson. Give a man a horse he can ride, give a man a boat he can sail, and his rank and wealth, his strength and health, on sea nor shore shall fail. Give a man a pipe he can smoke, give a man a book he can read, and his home is bright with a calm delight, though the room be poor indeed. Give a man a girl he can love, as I, O my love, love thee, and his heart is great with the pulse of fate, at home, on land, on sea. Daffodils by William Wordsworth. William Wordsworth, a famous English romantic poet, composed poetry on various subjects and topics. He was born in Cockermouth, United Kingdom on April 7, 1770 and died on April 23, 1850. I wandered lonely as a cloud, also known as Daffodils, is William Wordsworth's poem on nature. This poem depicts the beauty of nature and its effect on him. There is a description of thousands of daffodils in a natural, beautiful environment with a mention of the presence of clouds, breeze, valley, hills, stars, and waves. The beautiful sight of the daffodils fills the poet's heart with pleasure often when he is in a vacant or a pensive mood. So enjoy the poem. Daffodils by William Wordsworth. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft, when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude, and then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. Lucy Gray by William Wordsworth. Lucy Gray was composed by William Wordsworth and published in his Lyrical Ballads in 1799. This narrative poem was based on a factual story. It is about a little girl who died in a snowstorm. She left her home on a purpose but never returned. Her parents discovered and followed her footsteps till the middle of a wooden bridge, and there was no trace of her footsteps after that point. The sequence of the narrative incident, though very sad, has created interest and a lasting impact on readers. Lucy Gray by William Wordsworth. Oft I heard of Lucy Gray, and when I crossed the wild, I chanced to see at break of day the solitary child. No mate, no comrade Lucy knew. She dwelt on a wild moor, the sweetest thing that ever grew beside a human door. You yet may spy the fawn at play, the hare upon the green, but the sweet face of Lucy Gray will never more be seen. Tonight will be a stormy night. You to the town must go, and take the lantern, child, to light your mother through the snow. That, father, will I gladly do. This scarcely afternoon, the minister clock had just struck 2, and yonder is the moon. At this the father raised his hook and snapped a faggot band. He plied his work, and Lucy took the lantern in her hand. Not blither is the mountain row, with many a wanton stroke. Her feet disperse the powdery snow that rises up like smoke. The storm came on before its time. She wandered up and down, and many a hill did Lucy climb, but never reached the town. The wretched parents all that night went shouting far and wide, but there was neither sound nor sight to serve them for a guide. At daybreak on a hill they stood that overlooked the moor, and thence they saw the bridge of wood a furlong from their door. They wept, and turning homeward cried, "In heaven we all shall meet," when in the snow the mother spied the print of Lucy's feet. Then downward from the steep hill's edge they tracked the footmarks small, and through the broken hawthorn hedge, and by the long stone wall. And then an open field they crossed, the marks were still the same. They tracked them on, nor ever lost, and to the bridge they came. They followed from the snowy bank the footmarks one by one, into the middle of the plank, and further there were none. Yet some maintain that to this day she is a living child, that you may see sweet Lucy Gray upon the lonesome wild. Over rough and smooth she trips along, and never looks behind, and sings a solitary song that whistles in the wind.